Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. This is the first of two videos I want to do on the subject of earning income or finding some form of income while in Panama. This first one will deal with two possibilities. One is employment, and the other is setting up yourself up as your own corporation, a perfectly legal corporation, to provide those services. Now, the worst situation, from my perspective, is when I get messages in from people saying, Bob, can you give me some people I can write to and send them my resume? Or, worse yet, Bob, I've attached my resume. Could you please forward that to somebody who might find it interesting? I can't do that. And no one can do that. And that is simply not the way that it's done. Nor are you ever going to get hired on the basis of an email message and a resume attached. It doesn't make any sense. It's the same for a Panamanian going to Germany or the U.S. or Japan or whatever. It isn't going to work. You need to be there, physically present. You know, a lot of employers, they understand that foreigners sometimes are very excited about moving into their country and learning how to live there and so forth. But then they arrive and then they figure out that this isn't really for them. Now, the majority of people who come down are very happy to be here, but there are always going to be some who just don't feel right here. The employers and everyone here who might work with you want you to get through that experience on your own. They don't want to pay you so that you can figure out that you don't want to be here and leave. Big waste of money. It's, again, the same as it would be in any other nation. So that's not much of a starter at all. Otherwise, employment can be challenging to get because getting a work permit can be challenging to get, and a company who wants to actually have a full-time employee like yourself, you best have some really good skills, and more often than not, you're probably going to need some fluency in Spanish too, and that's not something they're going to wait for you patiently to get. You're supposed to have it when you walk in the door. You're going to be in competition with people, not just Panamanians, certainly, but also people from other nations, some of them other Latin American nations, who are bilingual, some of them are trilingual, speak Portuguese as well, from Brazil, and have a lot of experience too. So you have to think in those terms. Why go to the trouble and the expense which is involved in getting somebody onto the employment roster at your firm? For a large international firm with big offices here, this may be something that's quite doable if they really need you. But I definitely suggest to you that it's the least likely way to be successful. Not out of the question, but that's the least likely. The next stage is to do what so many people do end up doing, which is very easy to do. You set up a corporation, a company basically, to provide a particular service, whatever, and you're an owner. Now, if you're taking a job, an employment position, that could be going to a Panamanian. Of course, they're going to have protections for their own people to some extent. But if you're setting up a company, you're not taking anybody's job. You're setting up something completely new and with the potential of actually hiring Panamanians down the road. So that's all positive. So employee may not work, but coming in to be somebody's corporate client, so to speak, to do some sort of job for them for 2 or 3 weeks or whatever, and they pay the corporation for, and you happen to be the one who comes providing the services, it's a different picture. And assuming you make money, and you need to take some from the corporation, as an owner you can take a draw from the corporation when the money's there, but you're not an employee. So again, it's a different status, and it's one that is the most commonly found amongst people who are working full-time here in Panama from other nations. In all cases, though, regardless of which of these approaches you take, the critical thing is you must be down here. And I really say, don't even think about it until you get here. I mean, you might have a lot of good ideas and a lot of enthusiasm, and that's wonderful. That's going to help. But you've got to get to know the country. You've got to know where you plan to stay, because your area will be different than another area. There's a lot of information you need to get. and you will get it fairly quickly once you're down here. And it's going to make everything much easier. Nothing's easy in this world. Making money ain't easy. But it's certainly a lot easier when you've had some time to talk to other people, gotten out there, looked at things, checked out what is possible, what isn't, so on. You walk into an interview then, or you walk into make a query at one of these human resource offices or whatever, you know a lot more about what you're doing and what they expect, what might be possible. You make a much better presentation than if you just got in from Houston or Toronto or Frankfurt. Now, all of these approaches are useful. Of all of them, I'd say it's the corporation that is the one that most people use, that you should give thought to. And that corporation can be fairly broadly define its purpose. It can be a pretty general purpose so that you're flexible enough to meet different requirements. You don't want to be too specific because maybe that particular area is not a good one for you. But another thing that you can do is, so with a more general purpose, you can begin looking at a lot of possibilities. And if you do this, not only do you need to come down, but you need to get out of your apartment or your hotel room or whatever. Talk to people and strike up conversations. Be nosy. Go and find out more and more and more information. That's what you need to do. To sit there in the hotel room or in the apartment or whatever and just wait for something to happen, hell, it ain't going to happen that way. So, yes, you can come down. Yes, you can get something going. No, it doesn't happen overnight. As a rule, I suppose somebody out there might have a success story, but I haven't heard it. You're going to come down. You're going to put effort into it. Whether it takes you 3 weeks or 3 months or 6 months or a year, whatever it takes you, it will take you. You will be the judge of that. You will be here and making judgments based on actual information, not on something you read on an internet website somewhere. And that's going to make all the difference. So that is my general commentary on employment and corporations. And you can see some other tapes here, some people who've set up small businesses, some videos. And they'll talk about what they did and how they went about doing it. So I'm not going to try to do that right now. But I'm just saying, yeah, it's possible. But get on down here. Make the commitment to being in Panama and working in Panama before you ask somebody else to make the commitment to pay you. It's that simple. Thank you. Second video will be coming right along, I promise.